why, hello there. Welcome to Trifecta Talks. I'm Jared, in case you guys didn't see our first episode. Well, if you have, welcome back. Joined by my lovely co-hosts, Brandon and Brian.
What's going on, gang?
What an intro.
Oh, man, we got to liven it up in here. We're feeling loose tonight. Episode 2 of Trifecta Talks. Thank you to everybody who viewed our first episode. That was so much fun to make. And it seems like you guys are really resonating with it. And as well as our short. We have shorts out now. That's pretty cool. You can see Brian's ugly mug on the shorts.
Hey, bud, watch it.
We're all in great moods tonight. How are we doing, man? What's going on?
Oh, I'm doing peachy.
After that comment,
Yeah,
he's doing pretty great. I'm doing pretty well. I mean, like you said, the first episode did resoundingly well, and we can't wait to just see it grow from here.
Absolutely. And for our viewers, if you have the time, please join our Discord. We would love to build up a good community with all of y'all and just have a great time.
Absolutely. We already have a couple people in there right now. And thanks to those of you who have joined. And maybe what we could do, here's a thought, maybe we could start naming, hey, thanks for joining our Discord, blopty boppity blue, going down the line. And yeah, that's all I got. Great idea. Moving on.
Anyway, shoo.
Do you know who does these editing?
Don't edit it. Just let it ride. We got a great show today. And it's going to be a lot of fun in honor of Black Ops 6 releasing. And also, Brian pointed out just the other day, it is also Black Ops 2's 10-year?
12-year.
12-year anniversary. Wow, I feel old.
It's crazy.
Did you say Black Ops 2's release this year? Did I hear that wrong?
No. Black Ops 6 in honor of Black Ops 6 releasing. And then also, Brian pointed out Black Ops 2's, I said 10-year anniversary. Mm-hmm. Brian corrected me and said 12.
12 years, because we're old.
12 year. Yeah, keep up, Brandon.
That's a lot of fingers. Sorry.
It's going to be a really great show. We're going to talk about, right at the start of the show, the boot up, as Brandon has coined it, our favorite FPS games. I'm going to let Mason start because I don't think I've ever heard Mason talk about an FPS game in my life. So I'm curious to see what his answer is.
I had a feeling this was going to be the star of the show. Because here I am lying down in bed like, oh, we're doing FPSs. Have I played FPSs? And then I was like, I have played some FPSs, but not a lot. It's not a lot. I've only got 2, so I really can't, they're my only favorites, I guess you could say.
Sure.
So with that, the first one, I played this much recently. I played it this year, this past summer. I got around to playing Metroid Prime.
Ooh, that's a really good choice, Brandon.
That's probably I'm just a Nintendo guy, so it's obvious that my first FPS, not my first FPS. I shouldn't say that, but I think I just had to give it a try because I've played every other Nintendo game under the sun and moon, quote unquote. All like the OG people, I should say. So, was that a Pokemon Sun and Moon? Was that
yep.
Okay? Yeah, I really that was just me dipping into the water just because of all the hype that was surrounding by Metroid Prime 4, which looks great. And it kind of goes well with what our discussion will be later about talking about trailers and whatnot. But aside the point, just a really rocking soundtrack. That game is the pinnacle of 2000s. It just really feels like Super 2K with the sci-fi story and just the end of the world scenario. And again, the tunes are just absolutely rocking. It's got this really awesome alternative vibe that I really enjoy. And if you haven't ever listened to the main menu music, it's on every Smash Bros game, but it's the greatest theme song to any character I've heard. yeah, and it's just a really great game, and like you'll get lost real fast. It's definitely not a game that holds your hand throughout the whole thing. And as most Metroid games are, you kind of just have to find your way around. But yeah, it's just a blast, and I highly recommend uh, anyone who wants to play it, especially before Metroid Prime 4 comes out, because I'm sure Prime 4 is going to turn some heads when that game comes out. But for it being like a GameCube game, really awesome. Um, and then my second one is probably the first. The first thing you should know about me is I'm not a big FPS kind of person. I'm not a fan of the perspective. I prefer everything in a third perspective for the most part. Which is funny enough. I think not this game in particular, but the sequel did get a third person mode after a while. But with that being said, the game I'm talking about is Resident Evil Biohazard.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And I that was my first Resident Evil game. That, again, back to the conversation with PS4 stuff. That was the year I caught up on a lot of franchises that I missed out on, and one of them was that. And I'm glad I got invested into what people call the return to the series, because it's just a great game and really horrifies me. It is probably the scariest game I've played, and I played through the game and I tried playing the VR and I could not. My
Motion
heart,
sickness.
motion sickness, but my heart kept racing every corner I would turn, and I could not
Yeah.
beat the game. And I'm sweating already, so I'm like, I do not want to die under a PSVR headset. But just that game is like unsettling in so many ways. It's just the story's great, the terrors are great. Um, I'd say Village is up there too, but I'd give the props for Biohazard to really lifting off that new, terror genre. I think they created for themselves, that they've actually decided, instead of just making things creepy like Silent Hill was doing, which is also a scary game, but I just feel like they took it like 10 notches up and really like just went full on Japanese horror in some ways. Um, so yeah, those are my two favorite, I'd say.
Wow.
Good choices. Good choices.
God, Resident Evil 7 popped me so hard, dude. That is that game is amazing.
I definitely want to play it
Oh my
again
god.
soon.
Oh, dude. Have you played Village?
Yeah, no, as I was saying, I have played Village and I love Village. The thing with Village I'm iffy about is that I really enjoyed the one setting idea of Biohazard.
Yeah, it feels close
It keeps
quarters,
things
tight.
contained.
Yeah.
I think with Village, it's like it's very ambitious, and there's only like I like Lady Demetrescus. I like that whole storyline. I like the puppet thing, which is such a creepy storyline. Have you played Village?
No. I want
Okay,
to.
I don't want to spoil,
That's
but
fine.
there's a
No, it's
scene where
fine.
like
Talk about it.
oh, okay, there's just this like scene where like there's these puppets that, well, it's one puppet and then like the other puppets come alive too, and then you get into the basement and there's like this big giant baby monster that's like following you around in the darkness, and you have to like scurry around to find the puzzle pieces, and
That sounds
it's just
amazing.
it sounds great. I think the lowest of that game is probably the lake section, which it always seems to be, the water sections are always like the least favorite in every game. That one
Yeah.
just didn't like amaze me. It just kind of felt like we had to put this in here because we needed another level. Um, I haven't played the DLC, but I've heard it's pretty great as far as like extending the story goes. But it's got some really great twists, just like how the first one did. Yeah, I mean, I highly recommend it. And I really hope they do make a third part. I feel like this is definitely like this close trilogy they've made, and they've done that before, where like where like it's, even though it's like 2, 3, 4, it's its own kind of story they built out between those three, and then they'll jump onto another different story between 5 and 6, or so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
I feel like this is still a story that they have to close, and I can't wait to see if they do that with number 9, which I know it's early predictions, but I am hoping that maybe the Game Awards or in December, because I forgot that PlayStation does a direct of sorts in December, that they show off maybe the new Resident Evil. I think it's
God,
about time.
7 is so good. Oh my god. I totally forgot about 7 in this first person shooter thing. But I did not forget about 7 when we're talking about favorite trailers, which is in our next segment. Bry Guy, what you got? I kind of have an idea what you might have, but go ahead.
So
Brandon,
I have a
great picks. Wonderful
great picks. Seriously. So I have a lot of love for the FPS genre, so I picked a few, but I'm not gonna go like too crazy on them. One of them I've already mentioned previously. So
Oh,
uh,
you don't
I'm not.
say.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go too crazy on it. I'll just list that one off. Um, so the first one I'll get out of the way is Borderlands 2. I I
What?
I know it's crazy, right?
What a shocker.
Um, I I gave all my love I to that game in the last episode. So
Brian, don't
we're
cry.
gonna.
It's not like you're breaking up with it.
I'm gonna. So then we're gonna move
Dear
right on to the next.
Borderlands, I love you. Signed, Brandon Mason, XOXO.
You are so fresh tonight.
Somebody riled them up.
I know. He's all just.
Oh my lord.
Oh, geez. Go
Um,
ahead, Bry.
so
Yeah.
Borderlands 2. We're getting that out of the way. We already know I love that game. Next one, we mentioned it's its 12-year anniversary. Black Ops 2. It was the shooter that pretty much got me into online gaming as a whole. It was the first game I ever played on Xbox Live, and I have such a love for that game. And it's legitimately just, I think, probably the best COD ever. Which maybe for another episode of Hot Takes, but I feel like people would agree with me on that. Like to an extent, I think a good majority would say that you could argue that Black Ops 2 is the best one.
I would not. But
I know
we
you
could save that
wouldn't,
for
but
we could save that
yes,
for a
we could
different
save that
day.
for another time. But there's so much to love about Black Ops 2. It was the first time they really dipped their toes into futuristic stuff, and because funny enough, the year the game takes place is next year. It takes place in 2025. So how crazy is that?
It's pretty cool.
It dips its toes into it, but not too much. So it still has the elements of like stuff like a Modern Warfare or even like a Black Ops 1, despite it taking place years in the past. Um, but it still has like a good enough of futuristic stuff to you know differentiate itself from the previous entries, and it has my favorite campaign out of any COD. I think it's perfect. I have no issues with it. Um, Next up is way more into sci-fi. It's Halo 4. Um,
Halo, wow, that's a take and a half.
Halo 4. I think it's the best one in the series. Personally, no. I would probably give that to 3 in my opinion, but I know people would argue Reach as well. Before, I just personally love the most. I played it the most. I grinded it the most. Like out of anyone, I really just got into the multiplayer like insane, like just to an insane extent. The Promethean weapons, I think, were such a nice touch. I think there's such a cool like
They
race
were
of
pretty
enemies.
cool.
They're really cool. That's what
Yeah, they
really
were
got me
pretty
into
cool.
it. Once I saw like a full lineup of those weapons in it, I'm like, I gotta pick up this game, and obviously I did, and I love it to pieces. And I have a very quick story to tell about the campaign. So a friend of mine and I years ago, like over the summer between I think it was in going from middle school to high school or something like that. Um, we started playing the Halo 4 campaign late, like it was like 11 o'clock at night. We started it, and at the time I wasn't I really didn't stay up very late often. Um, and we did maybe like 2 or 3 missions in the campaign, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do one more, and then I'm just gonna have to call it. It's getting a little late, so we've ended up finishing the entire campaign in one night.
Wow,
We
damn.
finished the whole thing. Um, and it's just one of my favorite stories to tell, and I bring it up to him like anytime we talk like gaming stories, I always bring it up to him, and I say that we should run it back and we should do the same thing again years later. Yeah, so Halo 4, I have some really good memories with that. Next one, This one's completely out of left field in terms of FPSs because a vast majority of people hate this game. I love
It's
it.
Pokemon Snap.
Modded Pokemon Alpha Sapphire puts you right in the game, first person. No, it's Battlefield Hardline.
Yeah, that's You're gonna you're gonna start some debate with people.
I
Oh my god!
I love it. I
I'm
love
not
it.
trying
It's
to yuck your yum or anything, but my god.
You're not trying to crumb on him.
I know. Don't try and crumb on me, Jared.
Sorry.
Hardline is a very underrated Battlefield, and it's kind of it's not. I don't think it's as much of a Ghost situation where people went back or like, oh, like I actually really love this game. I don't know why I hated it at first. People hate Hardline, and they just kind of stick with hating on Hardline. I think it has a very fun multiplayer. Very like it's so different because you go from multiplayer to cops and robbers, and I'm such a sucker for cops and robbers and heist stuff in games, and I think Hardline nails it. And the campaign is like a cop TV show, like a drama, because it plays out in episodes, and literally, not to get into too much spoilers, you literally start out in like a car chase and you're doing like investigations and stuff like that, and your final mission is you by yourself on an island fighting other like rogue cops. It's insane. It's like something straight out of a movie. Um, but people hate on it, and I really don't know why, honestly. I have to hear specific reasons why people hate it because I think it really like kind of like how Black Ops 2 did with the futuristic stuff and differentiating itself. Hardline did that from Battlefield, where everything was military based, and then we went cops and robbers. And I think they should run it back again. Maybe not as much as I think COD should do with Ghosts, but Hardline would be a fun one to go back to, and maybe they'd come around to it. My final one before I get into two real quick honorable mentions is a game I haven't even finished yet. I've gone through 2 playthroughs and I just have to go back and just finish it. I get very angry while playing it, but I love it to pieces, and it's the 2016 remake of Doom.
Oh my god!
Just like
I have that written down on my notes. Damn it!
Top to bottom, perfect. A perfect sci-fi horror shooter with maybe here's another hot take, the the best, I don't know if I can say the best, one of the best scores to a game ever. If you're into heavy metal, it's you can listen to it without ever even playing the game and love it just as much. Mick Gordon made a masterpiece, and it's a shame what Bethesda did to him in Doom Eternal, if you guys know about that at all. Basically, in the second game, real quick, they overworked him, and they didn't compensate him, so he dropped out. They finished the score for him, and they never released it because it's really not. Mick Gordon doesn't want it released because it's really not his stuff to an extent. But the first game, it's so good. BFG Division is one of the best video game songs in a very long time.
I gotta go back.
Is he gonna come back since Microsoft took over?
He might. I don't know if he did anything for, was it Doom the Dark Ages or something like that? Or
yes.
Yep.
Well, it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, I don't know if he's doing anything for that. But
that's
we'll
another
see.
prediction, though. I'll put that on the table too for Game Awards. We get another trailer for that game.
I would
it's
love
supposed
that.
to come out in 2025.
And we've only gotten one teaser for it, like a couple months ago. Yeah, it's been.
I like how we're talking about trailers and we're leading into our topic already.
Yes. And then two real quick honorable mentions. I won't get into them too much. Titanfall 2. I think it's just super fast paced, fun. Campaign's also very fun. The mechs are one of my favorite things that any shooter's ever added into a game. That the first game obviously started it. Titanfall 2 mastered it, basically. Just took everything from the first game and made it 10 times better. Second one is Destiny 1 specifically. I have a love-hate relationship with this game. I have not played it.
Most people do.
Yes. I haven't played 2 at all. But I played a lot of 1 and specifically the Taken King expansion. Um, it's a very, very fun fantasy sci-fi open world shooter RPG, whatever you want to call it. Um, I I have mixed opinions on like the community that plays it and stuff like that. That's what's kind of pushed me away from ever playing Destiny 2. I'm not a fan of the Destiny community, player base, stuff like that. They're a little, yeah, I know I'm stirring the pot, Jared. I've been doing this for 2 episodes now. I think they're toxic. You know, you want to tell me I'm stirring the pot? I think they're toxic, and I don't want to play with them anymore. I think they ruined the game, if I'm being honest. So,
Jesus. All right.
The pot is boiling.
hashtag bring back Call of Duty Ghosts. Anywho, those are my favorite FPSs and some honorable mentions. Jared, take it away.
You know, this is now episode 2 where you guys talk in depth about our boot up conversation, and I'm always last, and then I have to somehow follow that as we are 20 minutes into the show. I don't know how I'm going to follow it, but I'm certainly going to try.
Go for it. Just do it.
Wait, you weren't last time. You went second,
Yes, I was.
and I went last. No. I talked about Kingdom Hearts last.
Oh, you did. Oh, right. But I had to follow Brian.
Yes.
After my almost 10-minute rant on Borderlands 2, it probably wasn't
now
that
I gotta
long.
Follow
but
you. Now I have to follow you again.
Again. So let me
Noted.
I'll go first next time.
Timestamp it. All right. Well, I still can't get over Brandon's Resident Evil 7 pick. That is just that really excited me because I totally forgot that was a first-person shooter, but that game is amazing.
That's technically a first-person shooter.
It's a 100% a first-person survival horror shooter, whatever you want to call it. 100%. I have 3, but I'll make them quick so that way we can get to our main conversation. The first one, big Call of Duty player. We've established that, but COD 4, Modern Warfare. That one for me is the reason why I wanted a 360. It was my first. Like Brian's was for what was it? You said what? Black Ops 2 was it that you?
Black Ops 2 is the one that got me into like online gaming.
So for me, it was COD 4. Seeing that online was amazing. I think COD 4 has the best campaign out of any Call of Duty. We'll save that debate for a different day.
I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion.
I respect your opinion.
Calm down.
It started. It started so many things that make Call of Duty today. It brought COD into the mainstream with kill streaks and the way the leveling up system worked and the maps, and it still has a decent PC community today that I still play. While not completely filled with a bunch of players, but it still has a decent amount. So COD 4, top tier for sure. The next one,
it definitely. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. It definitely set the bar for just online gaming in general. I think
100%, especially on console.
100%.
PC had already been doing that stuff, but especially and I guess technically Xbox had too. You could Halo 2 and on the original Xbox and all that. But I really think COD 4 really just into the mainstream stratosphere.
Oh, absolutely.
I also feel like Brian's been in my head lately because not only is COD 4 my one, but Halo 3 is my other one. So get out of my noggin, dude. Halo 3 to me
were you guys brothers? Did you guys grow up together?
Jared.
Look at us. We look
exactly alike.
It's like that scene from Muppets. What is it? Muppets.
Here we go.
Hold on, he's got it.
Muppets Caper, Great Caper, whatever that is. And they're like, they say that Kermit and Fozzie were brothers growing up, and they pull up a picture, and he's like, we were identical. Nothing alike.
It's the exact same scenario.
Oh, exactly.
Or it's like Kermit and the one guy from Muppet, or the other Kermit from Muppets Most Wanted. Brian has a mustache and I'm just clean face. Brian has an accent and I don't. Halo 3.
Anyways,
Let's get
continue.
Halo 3. Halo 3, in my opinion, is the best Halo game. I think it has the best campaign, start to finish. It has the best online infrastructure, maps, game modes, weapons, a wonderful community at the time. I have many, many fond memories of playing Halo 3 and COD 4 online with friends. Just infinite replayability. They just don't make games like that anymore, and I wish we would go back to that. The current state of Halo is something we could talk about in a future episode for sure.
100%.
Because it's an interesting state. But yeah, Halo 3, amazing. And then I have one more because Brian took COD and Halo already, so I'm going to throw one that nobody's mentioned, and I'm going to say Left 4 Dead. Left 4, oh my God. Why the face?
No, I said, I was like, because I forgot about that.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead is
That's like a game. That's a
Go
game
ahead.
I still need to play.
Oh my God. It could run on a potato, dude. So like we'll be good. We could play that co-op all the way through. Left 4 Dead is
that on
just
Game
fun.
Pass?
No. It's on Steam. And it always goes on sale for like it. Steam's a wonderful thing. All Valve's games go on sale really cheap all the time.
There's definitely is there a Black Friday sale going on for that, or like a Cyber Monday thing going on for Steam right now?
Pretty soon they'll do their big winter sale, or autumn sale, whatever. It's gonna come soon.
Perfect.
But Left 4 Dead, just them together, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 together, amazing co-op experiences. So many fun memories playing with friends. Memorable levels, memorable segments of just freaking out and laughing at the top of my lungs hysterically, especially on PC, because the mod support on PC is just phenomenal. You can have SpongeBob in the game, you can have Shrek, you can have Steve from Minecraft, you can have Deadpool. The list goes on and on and on. The community is amazing. So Left 4 Dead is just truly great. I also have just two really quick honorable mentions before we go to the top. Next thing, I also have Doom 2016. That game's amazing. And just a really oddball one, I'm going to throw in Bulletstorm. That Bulletstorm was the game that came out and it was packed in with the It was the Gears of War 3 beta, and everybody wanted it just to play the Gears beta, but found out that Bulletstorm is actually a freaking fantastic game. Silly, embraces the silliness, unbelievably gory, a perfect length of a campaign. The multiplayer at the time was kind of but the main campaign and the point system and the weapons and just the crazy stuff you could do was really, really great. So Bulletstorm is an honorable mention for me. Anything else, guys?
I was just gonna say, for the Left 4 Dead, did you play Back 4 Blood?
Very little. Not a big fan of it. I don't think it has the same charm as Left 4 Dead does, or just Valve games in general have a certain charm to them. And I think Back 4 Blood was, while embracing the Left 4 Dead aesthetic, failed, in my opinion, to really give the same vibe as Left 4 Dead, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I was just curious.
Yeah. It's fine for a modern Left 4 Dead, but there's better zombie games out there to play now than Back 4 Blood, in my opinion. Brian, have you played that? Have you played Back 4 Blood?
I have not, actually. Unfortunately.
It's okay. You get it on sale. It's fine. Yeah. Let's go into our let's go into our main topic. The last time us three had a conversation, we were talking about trailers, and Brian really was talking about his favorite trailers, and Brandon was let's talk about it on show. So what we're going to talk about right away is we're going to talk about our favorite trailers. I have a few. I'm going to start this time because I'm
okay. Go for it.
I'm sick of following Brian.
Go ahead. Make my day.
I mentioned it briefly in my favorite FPS in this last segment, but Resident Evil 7, I think, has one of the best E3 trailer reveals maybe ever. During or coming right after in the same show, coming right after God of War reveal, the new God of War reveal. And them starting off with this very creepy vibe. Nobody really knows what it is. What are we looking at? And then it has this really creepy music, and it's just intense, and it's really crazy. And then Resident Evil 7, and everybody goes bananas. And a truly fantastic trailer to get people hyped up. And obviously, the game turned out really great. I'm going to give just one other one, and I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to say, do you guys remember the Metal Gear Solid 5 reveal trailer that they did during the Game Awards? I think we were all in high school, but it wasn't called Metal Gear Solid 5 yet. It was just called The Phantom Pain. And no one
Oh, yes.
and at the end of it, they had the big whale coming in to the hospital that Snake was at. That trailer is amazing, and it's wild and crazy. And people kind of was starting to pick up that it was Metal Gear Solid pretty quickly as the trailer was going on, but they didn't call it Metal Gear Solid. That trailer just sticks out of my mind as just like a big old mind insert profanity here. Amazing trailer.
Go on.
You were saying.
Amazing trailer. I have a few more I could talk about, but they'll lead into another portion of this conversation a little bit later. So, Brandon, favorite trailers?
Sure. So I had a tough time with this. I'm such a Nintendo head, and so like that's what I think of because we get directs. Well, everybody gets directs now, but I feel like Nintendo jumped that with like the whole Nintendo Direct thing with like we'll do our own thing and we won't go to E3 and that'll be that. So
Yep.
A lot of these are from those moments, both from Switch era actually. So the first being was specifically the final trailer for Breath of the Wild was a godsend. Like
God.
it was the final moments of them revealing all the Switch stuff, you know, the features, the games. We were getting Splatoon, like great night. And it was like I think at that point in my mind, and I wish I could take myself back to that day to perfectly remember, but I felt like a lot of people were there, like, you know, they were just at that point they were like, well, if we have to wait a bit more for Zelda, let it be it. But then the last thing they show off is Breath of the Wild in its full form, running on Switch, and giving it the release date is the same day as the Switch coming out, which rejoiced so many fans. And the music was powerful. We were hearing voice acting for the first time in a Zelda game. We heard Zelda talk for the first time. It was truly an epic moment for not even just Nintendo gamers, but people who grew up with Nintendo and seeing, you know, The Legend of Zelda go back to its roots of this open land that you could traverse. And it just felt really good in the moment. And we were all really excited to see this resurgence of not only Zelda, but also Nintendo as a brand. And look where they are now. So that's probably like my number one. That's like just, that moment is so euphoric to me and I'll never forget it. My second one is Super Mario Odyssey.
That's a great reveal trailer.
Absolutely.
That is such an amazing so I'm specifically thinking of the second one that was at E3, not for their Switch reveal. I think they showed one for their Switch reveal, and it was really just like a demo. Yeah, that one was him just running through New Donk City, which was fine. A great tease of what was to come. We didn't really know much about it, but the E3 trailer is monumentally a crowd pleaser. Like, we were, again, back to the roots of Sandbox Mario 64. There's a song. Like,
that is like, that trailer, right? Where Rosalita is singing that song, or Rosaline, whatever her name
Pauline.
is. Oh, Pauline. Right. Pauline.
But yeah, it's that trailer, and like the hat thing with like you were a dinosaur one moment, you were a cheap and like a frog. It was like that was
So
the
cool.
era, and still is, I think, to this day, the era of Nintendo just being out of pocket and surprising fans every day and just really blowing their heads off of what was possible. So that was like huge. I mean, that was like right when they start off the trailer with like the dinosaur roaring and like you see Cappy
Yeah.
at like that, and then the music just comes on, and that whole marketing for that game was amazing. Like they could not have done it any better, to really make Mario shine and come back with his own sandbox game. And I'm curious what they'll do next, because it's either they do something fresh, because they could do another one like they did with Galaxy, but at the same time, though, I kind of hope that they do something different instead of the world traversing thing. But we'll see what they do. I mean, I'm down for another Odyssey, so we'll see. And I didn't write this one down, but it just came to me. Even though I wasn't there to witness it, I rewatched the trailer when I kind of wanted to see like the built up and the hype, because I knew this was a very hyped game for a very long time, to the point of like almost Breath of the Wild was. But I'm thinking of the game Last of Us Part Two,
Ooh.
which
Oh,
has
that reveal trailer.
that reveal trailer is really really good. I mean,
It's good.
again, they use music to really set the tone, and we don't get anything about the game or what it's about, but it really gets the vibe of kind of what we're going to now, where Ellie's growing up a little bit more, and where things are going from here. So I just like how the tone was set, and I generally always like how PlayStation did their I said should say did their E3 shows, because they were very artistic when it came to that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
they really put all stops, for those big games with Naughty Dog or God of War and stuff like that. And that's the same for Game Awards too. They pull out all the stops. They have like I don't know how many people are in the orchestra, but almost every transition musical piece in gaming history is played at the Game Awards, and they end it with the 6 big games that are awarded for best game, with a huge montage orchestral suite of all the 6 games coming together, and
Right.
it's really beautiful. There's some really great suites of those 6 games, and that I just going off topic real quick, I think that's why I really love the Game Awards, is that like it doesn't feel so competitive. It's really a place for the gamers by the gamers, and not like your typical Emmys or Oscars. It's really something that Jeff Keighley built out, that you know as a gamer himself, he wants to see people get into the limelight, and that's awesome for him. And I don't think he's just a really cool dude. If you ever like watch any of his streams or like Summer Game Fest, he just seems like a chill dude who's just like making people happy with video games. But anyways, those are my 3. I had a hard time thinking about it, but definitely like those ones I could think of are easily probably like some great, and all of them are like all first teasers or last teasers. It's kind of how it works.
I remember that first teaser for Mario Odyssey at the Switch reveal, where
Yes.
it's the city, and then the sewer drain cap shakes, and then he jumps out.
Yeah.
It was like, what are we looking at? Like, this is it was
I
really
remember.
weird. It's so weird, but man, did that game rock!
I mean, that was a great first trailer too, because that was also the moment where he met Cappy, and that's where like people were left off on, because it was it ends with him like running into this like blank abyss, Mario, and then he does this thing with a cap, and then the logo pops up, Super Mario. No, doesn't say Odyssey, and then it goes back to that white screen thing with Mario, and the cap gets eyes, and then Odyssey, and then that was it.
That's cool.
I think that's how it went. I could be wrong.
That sounds right. I'm kind of surprised, Mr. Nintendo Man, that you didn't say anything about this, like any of the Smash Brothers reveal trailers that they did, or just I guess that was Smash.
I guess
like,
I didn't
just
know
in
the
general.
extent of like these trailers, because there are some great reveals.
Any trailer, I
Any
think.
game trailer. Yeah.
Okay, well then if that's the case, let me add one more then, because the Sora DLC reveal trailer is the greatest thing Nintendo has ever put out. Easily.
I was waiting for it. I love that one and
No,
the
but
Banjo one.
Banjo's great because it continues off of the running joke when they did what was his name? King K? Is that his name?
Sure. I don't know.
The gator. The crocodile
Yeah.
Oh,
guy from Donkey Kong.
is it King K. Rule or whatever?
King K. Rule, yeah. They do the
Okay.
same thing where they like duke him out, and then like he does the same thing again with King DDD for Banjo Kazooie, but then he really comes out and like smacks, like literally just like puts him to the ground by Banjo. Anyways, but the greatest part about that Sora trailer is I cried. I cried. I cried at the part where no, listen, hear me out.
Don't make fun of me yet.
No, I think like I wouldn't say cry. It was just very emotional when you get that one last shot and you knew it was the last DLC and the final nail to complete Smash Bros. Ultimate was Sora shaking hands with Mario, finally creating that relationship between Nintendo and Disney to finally make this happen and to please fans all around the world. And you could not do it any better. And I thank every day for Sakurai for making such an amazing. I don't know how he's going to top this. I know he's working on something. He's confirmed he's working on something Smash Bros. Related, but I just don't know how he's going to top this. But I have full faith in him that he will get it right.
Put Brian in the game. That'll top it.
There we go.
Brian.
I'm literally just in a hoodie
Brian,
and jeans.
Yeah, your final smash is your big badonkadonk.
Can you imagine though? That's actually how like the next game is. You can like take a picture of yourself and then throw yourself in the game.
He smashed it. He's gonna chew me up later about that. It's all right, Brad. Go ahead, Brad.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Oh my goodness. Any more?
So,
Is
yeah,
that it? That's it.
That's all I got.
Cool. Okay. So I have a few. I didn't know which one was my favorite out of the ones I listed. But I think about just which one I constantly rewatch the most, and that is the reveal trailer. I think it's the first reveal trailer, or maybe it's the multiplayer reveal trailer. But it's a cinematic trailer, but it's for Battlefield 1. It's
Oh yeah,
what a
that's good.
what a trailer.
Wait a minute. You cry at Kingdom Hearts at a reveal trailer, and I get excited about Battlefield 1, and that warrants that response from you?
I've never played Battlefield 1, nor have I seen the trailer.
You should just watch the first reveal trailer and then get back to us because it is perfect.
So good.
It's
so good.
it's
Wait, can I top you for a second? Can I just quickly top you?
Go for it.
Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it for the next topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Battlefield 1, it was the big thing about it was who made EA? It was EA's answer to COD's it was EA's answer to COD fans complaining about the futuristic stuff because we had gotten Advanced Warfare, people didn't really like it. Then there were rumors we were going to go back. And then we got Black Ops.
Was it Black Ops 3?
I think it was 3 because then they went back to it was Sledgehammer, and then they went back to Treyarch, I think, and then Infinity Ward picked up.
After 3 was Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare, and then we got 3 games in a row that was all futuristic stuff. So COD fans weren't crazy about them. I didn't care, but they wanted to go back to the past, like just way back. So what did EA do? They're like, all right, we're just gonna make one that's in World War I, and unfortunately for me, I missed out on this game's prime. That's why it would have probably been in my favorite FPS list, but I just completely just missed out on it.
There's still a decent community out there playing Battlefield 1.
Which I've heard, and I really want to dig into the campaign because I know there's like multiple different stories you can do, and I've heard some of the songs from it, and that's like it'd probably make me cry. A
lot of crying tonight.
But a lot of crying tonight. Jared, when's your turn?
Just wait.
Okay. But Battlefield 1, it's like just 3 minutes of just chaos. They have a remix version of Seven Nation Army blasting over it as it's just like fighter planes and cannons and just pure chaos. And at the very end, you see a whole like Zeppelin like burning and like careening into the ground. It's just chaos from beginning to end, and it perfectly set the tone for the game, and I'm so glad it did as well as it did. My next one is it's a trailer actually that's going to carry over into what I believe is our next conversation. It's the first not gameplay reveal, but the first just like in-game reveal trailer for Cyberpunk 2077. It was our first reveal
Yep.
since the cinematic trailer that came out almost 10 years prior, by the way. I remember when it came out, and I think I was going into high school, which is insane. So I had been hyped about this game for years, and then they dropped this. I think at one, I don't know if it was the Game Awards or if it was a panel of sorts, but they dropped it at one of those big conventions. And it set the
Gamescom,
world.
maybe?
I think it may have been Gamescom, maybe it was PAX East. It was one of those big conventions, but it set the world ablaze because people had been wanting. There was nothing. It was the cinematic trailer came out, and then the Twitter, like the Cyberpunk. I don't know if it was a Cyberpunk Twitter or if it was a CD Projekt
CD
Red Twitter or
Projekt.
something. I think it may have been Cyberpunk's own Twitter, like that they made for it. It was just radio silence for almost 10 years, and then it just drops with no warning. And it was everything. The trailer was everything everybody wanted it to be and more, and I fell in love with I watched that trailer just like the Battlefield 1 trailer. I watched it endlessly. It was everything I could have hoped for. And then later on, they dropped like the 20-minute gameplay teaser, and I'm like, this game looks perfect. But we'll get into that in our next topic. Um, Next one is one I think may have flown under the radar in terms of like the slightly mixed release the actual game got, but I don't think that warrants trailer hate for it. And that's the initial trailer for Skywalker Saga for Lego Star Wars, where it's just revealing everything and it's showing that you could do everything in every movie minus the spin-offs. It I think it reignited a lot of love that people had for Lego Star Wars. They hadn't played it in so long, and then we get this, and it's showing that you can play through everything, and people instantly fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. I personally love the game, even though
The over the shoulder combat.
over the shoulder combat, the pretty big open world like hub thing, whatever you want to call it. They showed that they showed everything. And the
Funny how that's probably still the best Star Wars game compared to the other stuff we've gotten.
yeah,
Well,
you know what? Yeah.
other than Jedi, Fallen
Okay. There
Jedi.
you go. There you go.
Other than
I
that, but
you know
everything else recently, not talking in the past,
but like just
not
in terms of like last like
All right.
5 years or so.
current gen, current gen, not Battlefield.
Fair
Not
There's an absolute fair argument there. If you're going on the
100%.
most recent stuff, mainly because EA kind of like runs it with that. They've dropped some.
Well, there was Ubisoft, and that's an issue in itself.
Ubisoft, yeah.
Oh yeah, remember that game? Remember
so-
Star Wars Outlaws? Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, me neither. Remember Squadrons? Me neither.
Yeah, me neither.
So
But that was
fair
EA.
argument to be made there. It's got replayability. But the trailer it set the groundwork for everything that you could dig into in the game. I think that was the last game I had listed. I'm just gonna double check. Oh no, how could I forget about this one? I've already mentioned it maybe 5 times. It's the multiplayer reveal trailer for Call of Duty Ghosts. Let me just tell you. So I have I have a story for this one. It was like around the prime of Black Ops 2. I had never watched any live reveal for a game ever, but I love Black Ops 2 so much that a friend of mine and I watched it together over Xbox because you could do that. You just right on like the dashboard, they would just show like the reveal trailers for stuff like the live showcases and everything. And we were watching the panel for this next Call of Duty. And the campaign trailer already came out. That looked really good. But we were waiting for the multiplayer because that's what everybody hopes for. Or not hopes for, but like that's what they're all like patiently waiting for. Um, and then they drop it, and it's borderline perfect. I don't think it's as perfect as Battlefield 1's is, but it's nice that we got actual gameplay and it matched what we got on release. And you had Eminem blaring over it. You had Survival by Eminem blaring over it. What else would you want, like in terms of music, for a 2013 Call of Duty game? That's exactly what you want. It showed that we were getting nukes back. It showed all the cool weapons we were getting. It showed all the new modes. It showed a mode we've never gotten back with Crank. I want that mode back so bad. Um, but it's exactly everything you wanted in a Ghost, not a Ghost, but just a Call of Duty trailer, just in general. And it got us so hyped that we immediately hopped on a Black Ops 2 and just were like, oh, like we hope that this is in it. We hope that this is in it, and it met our expectations like to an extent. So, Call of Duty Ghosts.
Nice. Good stuff.
I'm gonna let you know this now. I love
Mhm.
you, guy. But if I have to hear about Call of Duty Ghosts one more time,
Let me look through my rundown for the rest of the episode. It's going to come up one more time, so prepare yourself.
and I also want everybody watching this to know that before we got on tonight, Brian was playing a game, and Brian said, "Hey, Jared, guess what game I'm playing?" I said, "Call of Duty," and he goes, "Yeah, but guess which one?" I said, "Ghosts." He was like, "Yeah." So if I have to hear about this one more time, I'm gonna put my head through the wall.
I think a lot of 100 likes on this video, and Jared will put his head through the wall.
No, please don't. I already hit my head once this
And then
week. I don't need to
tomorrow
do it
COD
again.
Ghost 2 gets announced and then he has to shave his head.
Yes, yes.
God, I don't even know why I agreed to that. If you guys hadn't seen that, watch our last episode. It was in that. Well, follow up to that.
Would you like me to kick off this one, or do you want me to put me last again?
Just go ahead. Just
Okay,
go ahead. Just take it. Just
I'm not
just
gonna
run the
go-
show.
Oh,
Well,
Just-
well,
I
wait.
have
You gotta
Oh, give me one
first
second.
Run it.
Hold on.
Take the money. Take my name out of it. Just take over. Just you do you, guy. I'll just sit back. I'll let you run the whole show.
Trifecta Ghost Talks.
Literally, Brian. I don't even have a joke. I got nothing. I'm just flabbergasted. Go on.
You look like a Muppet.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn into one. What are you doing?
Give me 1
It's like
second.
this-
I'll be right back.
You're doing this during show. You wanted to lead the conversation, and you're doing this during show. Okay, I don't know what he's doing. He's driving
He's
me
probably
nuts.
fixed his chair again.
He's like, "Oh, you want me to lead the conversation? Oh, all right, hold on, I'll be right back." Mid-show. I'm just gonna talk
Mid-show.
about it. We're gonna talk about, in reference to our favorite trailers. We're gonna talk about the trailers that we loved. However, disappointed in the end by how the game turned out, or vice versa. Bad trailers that turned out to be really good games. I'm going to start it because he walked away. I have one that I could think of offhand that didn't turn out to be the game I wanted it to be. I'm a big fan of the Mafia series by 2K. And I think Mafia 1 and 2 are really... Mafia 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's a bona fide masterpiece. Oh, look who's back. And so I'm going to... so I'm going to pick... I'm going to... Oh, hi. Welcome back to the show.
My
Did
dad
you
locked
forget that
himself
we
out.
were- Anything else? Anything else that's gonna happen on
I
the
didn't close
show?
my door. Hold on. Oh my god.
You just see Brian get like thrown across the room.
Oh my god.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Yeah, we'll do it all live. Okay, so
We're back for real this time.
all right, catch up to speed. You whack
What,
job.
Brandon?
Catch you up. I started the conversation, and I talked about, and I think you're a fan of the first game. I don't know if you played the second one, Mafia, and big fan of that series. And I think Mafia 3 is the most is a case of great trailer, massively disappointing game.
I would agree. I played just a tiny bit of 3, but I remember the
Yep.
trailer coming out, and I think what I remember the most about it was it like it was like not a cruise ship, but like a party boat you're on, and it's on fire, and like you're sneaking alongside the side of it or something. I just that visual, I'm like, this game looks incredible, and then you play the game, and it's not so.
The thing about Mafia 3 that irritates me so much is that first trailer, the cinematic trailer, was phenomenal, and it introduced us to Lincoln Clay as the protagonist. And Brandon, I don't know if you've played Mafia, but uh, the protagonist of Lincoln Clay, he's a really good protagonist, and all the characters around him are really good, and the story itself isn't necessarily bad. It's that when you actually get into the nook and crannies of the game and what it is, it's just repetitive nonsense. It's just the same mission over and over and over again, but just change the area.
Unlike either of the previous entries.
Literally. And Mafia 2 is like a 7-8 hour game, really short and sweet. Everything matters in terms of that story. Now, the open world of Mafia 2, you could argue, isn't good, but but the story itself is amazing. Mafia 3 is just repetitive nonsense. And what irritates me the most about it is, again, the character Lincoln Clay is interesting. The setting of New Orleans, Louisiana is phenomenal. Graphically, it looks really good, especially for the time. But the game itself just isn't that good. And I'm excited to see it's the same developer doing the new Mafia, the Old Country. And that trailer just dropped not that long ago. And that trailer was short and sweet to the point, but man, is it good.
That's all. And it's all I need. I don't need to see anything else.
It looks, I'm good, but I'm hoping that it's not a Mafia 3 situation. Mafia 3 sold really well, but I think that trailer is really disappointing. Or the game itself is disappointing because the trailer was so good. Yeah, that was the only one I could think of offhand. Mason, what do you got?
I have a couple. Some jaw-dropping ones. Actually, I think only the first one might be jaw-dropping.
Let's hear it.
You ready?
Oh, we're ready. Are you going to say something that we're not going to like?
No, I think it might surprise you.
Okay, go ahead.
Every Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer that came out.
Wow. Really?
And
I don't have much input on this, so go ahead.
I at least think that first trailer is really, really good. That reveal trailer from E3.
So
it's 2016.
Here's my problem with it. And it's a love-hate relationship, obviously, because the problem with Kingdom Hearts 3 is that, sure, I like it if it's one trailer. I'll like it if it's 2 trailers. It becomes a problem when you have 20 trailers to the point where like the story is in like full force. And
that's
I
a
do
problem.
remember one trailer doing that.
Yeah.
It's like one of the last 2 trailers that do it, and it's hurtful to a lot of fans, who waited.
Wow, you feel personally attacked, guy.
I do.
Hurtful.
Because, when you've been waiting, 10 plus years? More than that.
I'm with you.
And to get, it's fine to get bits and bits of trailer. fine. But when you're at 20 plus trailers for one game, it's a little ridiculous to the point when you're running out of stuff to show, and to just be slapped in the face with like, oh my god, the Frozen world is like probably the worst part about that game.
We
and
devote an
but,
entire
so,
3 minutes of that world to her singing "Let It Go." I'll tell
no,
you.
that's not even the worst part. The worst part
Uh,
is you go up the mountain, you go down the mountain, you climb up the mountain again, you go back
Yeah.
down the mountain, you climb it
Yep.
up again, and you go back down again. It's just like,
I think here's the thing. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is the worst one of the bunch.
yeah, I know that's your hot take, but I don't think that's even true.
You don't think that? I think it's the worst one of the bunch.
I'd say
Oh.
Recoded.
Okay, let me be specific. Of the main 3,
Okay, I mean that's tight, but it's a
I think it's
better
the worst
game
one.
than any of those. They're all part of the story, so it's you can't really flag the other ones down.
I can't flag the other ones down, Brayden. Are you kidding me? Kingdom Hearts 3 is the worst Kingdom Hearts game. Boom. Just did it. Just said it.
Yeah, well, to each their own. I think it's a great game. I think it's a great story. I just think the overwhelming trailers we got for it was a little too much.
Revealed too much.
That's all I'll say on that. The next one, and this one's probably going to be in all agreeance. I don't know if we've all played it, but if anyone knows me, I'm a big Marvel fan. And one of my great trailers but disappointing game was Avengers by Square. Another funny enough, it was a Square game again.
I haven't even played it, and I know. I just know.
Again, your same thing with Mafia 3 is so repetitive. It is the same small nuanced tasks of fighting hordes to getting drones shot down to boss battle after boss battle. It's like the only thing to look forward to is playing around with each character and their different abilities. And I guess the cool part was that all the DLC was free, so that was cool. I'll give them props to that. If you were on PlayStation, you got Spider-Man for free, so it was like there was some cool stuff they did with it. Don't get me wrong, it's so repetitive, and this is a whole topic in itself, but that genre of gaming needs to die in a hole fast. I hate it.
The live service
live
game
service.
Hate it. Hate, because they put you down this pipe. It's like, wow, this game, because that was me with Kill the Suicide Squad, or no, sorry, it's Kill the Justice League, where it looked great. It looked like a great story, and then they were like, live service. I'm like, get them out.
That Guardians of the Galaxy game wasn't live service, was it?
Nope.
That's crazy. Why wouldn't they just make it make all of them like that?
Yeah.
And that's a great game. That's such an underrated gem.
I was going to ask you about that game. I wrote that down. Brian, get out of my brain.
You wrote it down as disappointing?
No, I literally just wrote Guardians because I wanted to ask you that question of if you liked that game. But Brian, once again, stole it.
What can I say?
You're a genius. No, I do like Guardians. I think that's another great reveal trailer, honestly, because that came out of left field. Like did not know that this game was happening. There might have been leaks. Maybe I'm wrong, but it came out of left field. There might have been. But it was it's such a nothing game, but I think that's how well it works. It was the game that Square needed to save themselves from what they did with Avengers, and for some reason they up and sold them. I think the whole Crystal Dynamics team, so Tomb Raider and all those, Square sold them. I don't know who they're with now, but they're not with Square anymore. Yeah, I don't know what will happen. I'm hoping those, not just Marvel, but because I think Marvel's scattered, it's a bit everywhere, like Blade's on Bethesda, and Spider-Man's on PlayStation, but Tomb Raider, I'd like to see come back at some point, as she's getting a movie, or sorry, she got a series on Netflix, But I think she's getting a live action series on Prime. Don't hold me to that.
Yeah. Yeah, they just tapped an actress to play her. I can't think of it off the top of my head
Okay. So yeah.
who it is.
Don't know where I was getting. So basically, Avengers is just like great trailers, great lead up. Just the live service was like that was the nail in the coffin, I think, for live service games. And it was just like, nope, don't do it anymore. And yet W Games did it. So that was that. I think that was the nail in the coffin.
And the live service genre itself is still like there's plenty of it. Fortnite, Apex, the finals.
Sure, but those are
just
and
to
those
name
are
a
games
few.
that work. Those are games that work with it, but when you
Yeah.
force a story onto a live service game, it's
Yep.
not good because
Yeah.
as the story like you're basically forcing players to come back to play to continue the story, which is wrong on so many levels. If the game is fully ready, like this goes beyond like buying expansion packs and DLC. The fact that you're holding on to fans so that they can continue to play the game and also buy currency is just on a whole nother realm of like this is stupid. Who wants to do this? This is ridiculous. So
And that's why the
I
game
never
failed.
did. And that's why the game failed. And then now you can buy like well, I think it's gone now, but you after they shut it down, you were able to get everything for free from the marketplace, which again ticked a lot of people off because they put all those things and bought people's money and again a whole issue. So that's the issue behind that. And I'm glad there are some games like like Nintendo with Splatoon who like you get like one expansion and it's not needed to play the game, but it's fun. It extends the game, but it's a whole problem in itself. Basically, I won't go.
Yeah, the live service thing is a huge issue in the modern gaming sphere because there's just so much of it, and every live service game is trying to take your attention, and in a very crowded environment of games, the live service thing is only feasible, like you said, for the ones that I guess it works for, right? I mean, the Fortnites, the Apex, even Call of Duties. I'm Brian and I, big Call of Duty guys. Call of Duty has started this live service thing within its main game, which is, you could say what you want about it, but at the very least, though, Mason, with those games that I mentioned, they're free to play.
Yes, they're free to play.
Avengers and Kill Justice League were not, and you had to pay out for them, and that's the crazy part.
Right, and the fact that you would play a story that lasted. I mean, Fortnite has a story, but the story was like you hopped in for like day one of the release, and then that was the story. You played the story, and then that was it. You could hop back in and out and easily. But with Avengers or kill the Suicide Squad, whatever. I'd rather kill the Suicide Squad at this point than Justice League.
But didn't they put the story for Kill the Justice League, like the ending of it or the whatever, behind a paywall?
There is an ending, but they kind of leave it open ending where like people still join the Suicide Squad. So you later on play as Joker, and then I don't know. I think Ivy's in it too.
But don't they put it behind a paywall though? Don't you have to pay in order to see that content, or no? Okay,
I don't believe so. I don't think so. Maybe there is a paywall, and I'm oblivious. But yeah,
that's sad.
That's just yeah. I think everybody's on the same page with this. I'd be very surprised if somebody said, "I love paying $10.99 for every expansion." Like, no, you don't. Just don't lie to yourself.
Brian guy, what you got, man?
Wait.
Show...
I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done?
I'm not done. I have more.
Wow, this is a long show. This is awesome. Keep going.
So 2 more. Now this one's very particular, but hopefully I can get people behind on this.
Okay.
And this is more coming from a kid perspective than as a grown adult now. But hear me out. Just hear me out. Every trailer that showed console gameplay for a game that was also on handhelds.
Explain it.
Oh, okay. No, I understand what he's saying. I get it, because I get it.
You get fooled. That it...
Oh, you think that's going to be the same game on the handheld, but you quickly find out that it's not the same game.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good take. Yeah.
But that's like totally from a child's mind, and if there are any children watching this, I'm sure you can't relate because you could probably play the same games on consoles, on mobile, but back then it was
Yeah,
like you it was two different developers and two
mhm.
different mindsets going
Yeah.
on at the same time.
My biggest example of this is, for me, it was Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, going from PS. I think I played it on PS. I don't know. I didn't own it for a while on like a home console, but like comparatively like that, and then like the last one I had was Lego Star Wars 2, which is a great one on PS2, and then I get Complete Saga for DS, and it is a completely different game. It doesn't play the same. It doesn't run the same. It doesn't. It's polar opposite. I still played it a decent amount, but it's still like what are we doing here? It's not even remotely the same.
It's so disheartening
Mm-hmm.
to a
Very
child.
much
You
so.
know, it's
To a
like
child, very much so. Like,
to me now, like I can understand, but
it's
when
like I
you're a
get
kid,
it. Yeah.
you don't
You
get
don't. You
that
don't get.
stuff.
Yeah. It doesn't even. Yeah. It doesn't click.
I was a dumb kid. What can I say? My last thing, and it was actually from Brian triggered it because I forgot what it was exactly. It was about sad games. Like you were like, oh, Battlefield's like the saddest thing. But then I remembered this game, but I wanted to save it for this because it has the same vibe, the same issue with great trailers, plural, but terrible execution. And that was, and this might get people riled. This might be a hot take, and I've played it, so I can say for sure that this is not a great game in my opinion. But it's Days Gone for PlayStation 4.
I don't have an opinion on it, so I need to hear both
N-
sides of this.
I haven't played it either, so the face is just. I'm thinking about that initial reveal trailer was phenomenal, and then I love that. I'm with you. I think the game has quite a fan base now. I feel like the game
The
has
game
quite the
quite a
following.
fan base. I think they really are
Stir the
shooting for
pot,
them to.
Brandon. It's a full body.
No, but like the trailer I was thinking of that really like was like, wow, this looks like a really emotional game. It's the trailer, and maybe this is the first trailer. I can't remember it, but I think it's the final cinematic trailer where it shows his wedding day at the church, and it's got like I just listen to the song. It's on my like Apple playlist because it's such an amazing song. But it's such a basically this dude like had a great life before these zombies took over, and he had a wife, and loved her so much, and the aesthetic is like they're like a biker gang, and like it's so cool. It's got such an awesome aesthetic. It's literally like everything you would want, and like a lot of the inspiration feels like Walking Dead, basically. So not so much like Last of Us, but a little bit like Last of Us, but more so the focusing on the factions and building those factions, and so on and so forth. But it just falls so flat on like the open worldness. It is too much to bear. It's almost empty for the most part. And not to like I know, so there's this thing with like I feel like Death Stranding is also in that position where it's a very very open land. Like you're traveling across the United States. But I think like with that game, that's the aesthetic and that's the point, is to tread the United States. This is like a small land, and it's like the next like camp is like so far away, and the only way to travel is by motorcycle or walking. It's like, and again it gets to this point where it becomes so repetitive because you're just going from camp to camp, back and forth to complete missions, and it's like so it's like it's so tiresome and boring. I quit like almost a third of a way through, and I just wasn't compelled by the story anymore. So that's all I got. Those were mine.
Sweet.
Brian.
So my first one, I don't know if, so when I left briefly, I don't know if Jared mentioned it. I know you talked about Mafia. But this is like the biggest example of it possible is the Dead Island cinematic trailer. and then going to the actual game. Now I love the actual game. I do. I have great memories. I played really loved the multiplayer, but the cinematic trailer is like Oscar
Amazing.
worthy. It's amazing. Like everything's in reverse and like you don't know what's going on right from the start. It's it's perfection. And I think that's an issue with cinematic trailers nowadays, and that's a topic we're gonna dig into a little later. Um, but it's the polar opposite product. It's not what we ended up getting. We ended up getting almost like a not a comical, but like not as serious game
The
as
complete
compared to
opposite.
that. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
But still, I think still a good game, but not what we were expecting. And I mentioned this game prior, Cyberpunk 2077. I love the trailers, and I'm glad now that the game is fixed. So now you can enjoy it like the trailers were showing it to be, how good they were showing the game to be. But that launch was one of the worst ever. It pushed so many people away, not only from that game, but just from CD Projekt Red. They lost so much faith in them like that quickly, and it's a shame because th- the investors were the ones that pushed the game out. It wasn't even CD didn't want to do it. They wanted to push it another like half a year to a year, I think, because they just weren't ready, and investors were tired of them continuously pushing it and pushing because it was supposed to be out for like 2 years, and they wanted to like just have it perfect. And they said when it's ready, it's ready. And every time it got delayed, fans were like, all right, we understand. And then the investors obviously weren't so lenient, and they pushed them to release it. They released it, and it was a dumpster fire, but now it's fixed. um Now, my last one, I was only going to do Dead Island and Cyberpunk, but I couldn't even remember the name of the game for a while. So like earlier in the podcast while we were recording, I had to look up the name of the game
Is
because
that why you left the room?
that's not why I left the room. I was looking it up right when I was here. Don't you worry. This game, it came out a little before the Battlefield 1 trailer because I remember watching this one a lot around the time when around the time Jared and I met actually in Bosie's. Um and it broke my heart when this game got canceled. The game never even came out, but it had such a I don't know what word to put with it, but just such a like a hopeful revealed trailer and revealed gameplay. And it wasn't even like fully finished gameplay. It was like alpha footage. But it was still, for somebody who's into sci-fi as much as me, and like even with some fantasy elements,
Oh,
it was so unique. And it, it it's a shame we're never going to get it. There were rumors that it was going to come out, but we're never going to get it. And that's a game called Scalebound.
I thought that's where you were going with that. Yep.
I was in love with this trailer, with
That's that
with
was
both trailers that they
Platinum
did.
Games, right?
I
Platinum
think
Games did
so.
that. Yeah.
I think so.
Yep.
It had such a unique vibe to it. Like you could turn into like a dragon. You had dragon power and stuff like that. You could control your own huge like pets and everything, or your own dragons and whatnot. And you could get into 4-player co-op lobbies, and you each had your own dragon. You would fight these even bigger dragons and stuff. It looked insane. The combat looked nuts. The graphics looked incredible.
Yeah.
Just the whole vibe of it was killer. And then
Mark
it
my
got
words.
canned.
Mark my
What's that?
words. Platinum Games is probably working on the game right now for Switch 2. I'm gonna blue sky that idea into
I
existence.
hope so. Even if it's on and going to be on a brand new console like that, I hope it comes out to some extent because it had so much hype around it. And from me, from me, I thought it was going to be like it when we were hoping for another Cyberpunk trailer. Scalebound kind of like came in and was like my most hyped game for like a long time
It's a good
because I'd
trailer.
never seen anything like it. And then within such a short amount of time, it got canned. And then Cyberpunk finally did his reveal and everything, and we all fell in love with that as well. But Scalebound is one that really, like, that one really, like, hit home because we didn't even get to play it. We couldn't even get a full opinion on if the game was even going to be good or not. Even if the game ended up being not great, we at least got it, but we never even got to play it, which is such a shame. I think it was supposed to be an Xbox exclusive for a
I
while.
was gonna say that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was going to be an Xbox
hundred
exclusive,
percent.
and I was full in on Xbox. I was like primarily an Xbox One guy, so I was really hyped. I was really hyped for it, and we didn't. Just they canned it, and there were rumors for a while
Shame.
that they were gonna like port it to Switch. Like you were just saying it could get a Switch 2 release now, which is even better. But there were rumors for a while that they were gonna pick it back up and make it a Switch exclusive, which I think that would have worked as well. But we'll at the moment we'll never know, which is so unfortunate. But yeah, Dead Island, Cyberpunk, and Scalebound.
I remember that Scalebound trailer. My God, was that cool, man! And it was.
So cool.
I think it could have been a system seller. Maybe I know
Mm-hmm.
that's like Platinum Games in terms of the mass appeal isn't quite there, but
Mm-hmm.
that trailer I think
Just alone, the trailer alone.
could have bridged that gap. You
Mm-hmm.
know, between the mass appeal and then Platinum, which is kind of like almost like a niche thing. Platinum
Mm-hmm.
games like
Yeah.
Bayonetta and those kinds of games. They're kind of
Yeah, they're like
they're
Atlas.
successful. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Very niche, but kind of, but also maybe I don't know. Maybe what I'm saying doesn't make sense. But like Atlas games
No, I
though.
gotcha.
To be fair, Atlas is I think definitely on a has more mass appeal. Where I feel like Platinum kind of is a niche thing if that makes sense. But
I
Scalebound,
feel like
yeah, great trailer.
Scalebound,
yeah.
yeah, big one.
What are you gonna say, B?
Well, I was just gonna say Atlas. I feel like for me, I feel like they're just known for Persona, and then they like trickle in between games from there. Did they do Metaphor?
Mm-hmm.
They did do Metaphor. I
Yeah,
have yet to play that, but I heard it's like supposedly going to be a contender for Game of the Year.
that's what I've heard too. I would really like to play it. It looks great. And then to end the
Your
topic
turn.
of
Wait, did you
trailers,
say yours?
yeah, I said Mafia 3.
Oh, right. Sorry.
So real quick, I think we mentioned this like very like prior. This ties into this, but flipped. So I had one game, it flipped. So bad trailer, good game.
Yeah,
Real
what
quick.
you got?
So we talked a lot of FPS. We talked a lot of COD. COD of Infinite Warfare, I think, is not a bad game. As it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
I think there's some people who would agree with you on that. Yeah.
Um, the trailer, um, isn't perfect, but they had been, you know, they wanted to go back, and then this trailer gets revealed, and I believe it broke the record for most dislikes on a
I
game
yep.
trailer like video ever. The amount of like the like to dislike ratio when YouTube still could let you see dislikes for like a casual viewer was an insane amount. Like it was like
Yeah.
It was all Sith.
it was for very much so. It was all dislikes.
Yeah.
Um
I remember
but
that.
it ended up being a passable game. The campaign was pretty short and sweet, all things considered. They added side stuff you could do. The multiplayer was fun, and I think it has maybe the most underrated zombies
Weren't
in any game.
weren't zombies? Didn't you have to pay for zombies? No, that's Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare, you had to pay
Yes,
for
Advanced
zombies.
Warfare you had to pay. Infinite
No,
Warfare was included.
right.
And that was a very fun one. But yeah, COD Infinite Warfare overhated.
Overrated. I feel like that should be
Overhated.
your new term that we
It's
use for you
overhated.
on this
I'm
show.
just a very optimistic guy, Jared.
When it comes only to Call of Duty, you are. Uh, we'll end this trailer conversation with this. Brandon brought up this topic the other day, and I think it's a really good topic to end this segment on, and that is, are trailers even necessary anymore? I think that that's a good question to ask, especially in the case of what we've been talking about tonight, in cases like Dead Island being this ultra uh, very cinematic trailer and very sad, and then coming out and being the complete opposite. It's like you didn't market the game at all to what it's actually going to be. Um, I will say that I do think trailers are still necessary to sell the game, but cinematic trailers I feel like are a nuisance, because I also said too, Mafia 3, another example. Great cinematic trailer, gameplay wise, repetitive. Um, I think trailers are still necessary. I think they're just a necessary tool to sell the game. But Mason had a really good point to make on this, and I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah, so I'm I'm indifferent about cinematic game trailers. So and here's my perspective on it. I think so. First off, I think we still need trailers to sell the game. Obviously, I think that's very clear and from the get go. But as to how to do it, I think is totally up to how you want to sell the game, and
Yeah.
it all depends on the game that you're looking to sell. So my example in my head is I think of the FF7 remake and the announcement trailer being a full cinematic trailer, but
Mhm.
that's how to do a again, praising the team at FF7 because I don't know what they're cooking, but they're cooking something amazing because their cinematic trailer was a simple 10 seconds, 20 seconds, maybe 30, still less than a
I
minute
remember
of
that.
just a zoom in the bar and there's Cloud, fully fledged 3D model, crystal clear HD graphics running on Unreal Engine 4 at the time, 5, I can't remember, but that was it. That's all we got, and that's all we needed. And everything from that point on was either cutscenes from the game itself or gameplay, and that was perfect. Like that's how you do. You save the cinematic stuff for a teaser, and not a minute long teaser, not a 2 minute teaser. Literally keep it till 30 seconds or less. Show a little bit of what we're getting, and in development, titled, whatever. That's it. Do not go 2 minutes of just showing the whole story through cinematics, okay? Or the pre amble to like what's to come next. It's like this is pointless. Let me experience the game to get the gist of the story. Just give me a tease, like just don't give me the full thing. That's how I see cinematic trailers. If you just give me a quick 30-second tease on what's to come, confirm it's in development. That's all I need. Do not give me another cinematic trailer until there's actual gameplay or a cutscene to work with. That's all I need.
It's a good point. Bry?
So I basically like completely agree with both you on this. It's in terms of if they're a necessity, it's a yes and no. So for me personally, I think the only trailer that's 100% necessary is always going to be a gameplay trailer, whether it's a
Yeah.
gameplay like a 3 minute like a multiplayer reveal trailer if you want to do something like a big franchise like release something like that. That's perfectly fine. If you wanted to do like those full on multiplayer reveal like sequences like they did for Cyberpunk, like those full 20-minute things, whatever. Those are also I would consider. You could consider that a trailer per se, or more like a reveal, whatever you want to say. Those two are much more necessary than a cinematic trailer. But like what Brandon was saying, a cinematic trailer is only necessary, not even necessary. Like they can only be done really if they're 30 seconds or less. They should not go longer than that because then you're basically giving like you're giving a false identity to the game that you want. Um
Yeah.
I think uh I think a big example of this is almost every trailer you see for like those MMORPGs. Like if you like those League of Legends ones are always just like they're movies. And then the actual gameplay is completely different. And I get why they do
Overwatch
it.
as well.
Yes, oh very much so. You could even say
The
what's
one
up?
I think of, what is it? Jeez, it's It's an Xbox exclusive.
Diablo?
No,
Is Diablo
I
an
think
Xbox exclusive?
I think Gear is in the title.
Gears of War.
Yes,
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, very
I
much
feel
so.
like they always go. I remember, I don't know which year it was, but one E3, it was maybe a 5-minute cinematic trailer.
That's too much. You're
Ridiculous.
showing a short film at that point. It's not even a trailer. One that I'm very 50-50 on is the initial Cyberpunk one they did way back. Which I watched that one endlessly, not knowing what it was going to be. And it's like it's a still, like it's a frozen like scene, and it's like them like panning around it. It's like of a like mid like shootout, and then at the very end they show like a little bit of like a cinematic like teaser thing, like it's like 5 seconds. That 5 seconds did just as much as like the 2.5 minutes you just showed. um that's all they needed, and like I said, I have a it's a love hate thing with that trailer. I love it, but at the end of the day, it's really not what we got. Kind of, sorta.
Yeah.
It perceived it as much more like a almost like a cop thriller, and that's not what Cyberpunk is.
No.
But yeah, you gotta be very very particular with your cinematic trailers. I think the only, I don't even want to say justified, but like I I enjoy like the Smash Bros ones, because I think we all at this point we kind of just we know what the game is, we know what it's gonna be. So for
Right.
like a character reveal, I think it's perfectly fine to do a cinematic one for those, like because they kind of intertwine cinematic and gameplay. So they'll, like for example, like when they did I think it was like Mega Man, they did this. They show like 30 seconds of cinematic stuff, and then it's like a minute or even less of like gameplay.
That was for the Wii U uh, Smash one. I know exactly the one you're talking about because it's
Yep.
got that kick-ass
Yeah.
killer rock music,
Yes.
metal music.
Yes. Yep. Very much
Oh,
so. The
that
Wii
was
U
sick.
3DS release. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That those ones I have no issues with, but when you're getting into these other big AAA titles where we're not sure what to expect, and you give us a
yep.
cinematic trailer giving us this false hope for something much more big and grand. In reality, it's something either completely different, or it's not even like remotely to the scale of what we're perceiving it to be. It's just completely unnecessary, and at the point it's just a tease, and almost feels like it feels like they know they didn't reach the heights of what they wanted the game to be, so they're using that as more of a money grab than the game itself.
That's a fair point. It's all about intent. What are you intending to do by this cinematic trailer? And you're right. And Smash is a very particular situation where we already know what the game's going to be, so it's okay. But yeah, I think honestly the best example is Dead Island.
Oh,
There might be
100%.
another one out there that is just this, the same, but who
Hmm.
knows?
Yeah.
Um, and so I think that's a good place to end the show. This has been such a fun time, and we've talked in great length about FPS's trailers. We're going on an hour and a half, which is awesome. So let's end with this. What is everybody playing right now? The only thing I'm playing is Black Ops 6 still, and I'm also playing Civilization 6 to death. Also, a side note, Justice, if you're watching, our game is almost done. We're doing a 250 turn game. We're at 190 turns, and I'm gonna kick his rear end when it's all said and done. So
He's going nuts.
oh, I'm going ham. This game has been going on for like 2 weeks now, and I'm just chomping at the bit, wanting to.
Oh my lord.
So many twisted turns. Civ is amazing. Mason, what are you playing?
Still playing Mario and Luigi. I'm surprised at how big the game is.
Overwhelmed.
What are your
Not
initial
overwhelmed,
thoughts?
just like it's a great game. I mean, the whole thing with like IGA giving it a 5 out of 10 is just
Oh
ridiculous to me because
really?
yeah,
That's
They're a meme.
that's wild.
Yeah, they obviously have the
That's
wrong
fine.
people playing the game, I think.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's great. I love it. I totally recommend it. I recommend it if any parents are there watching and thinking about getting their kid a Switch. That's the holiday seller, I think. um. Anyways, I'm also thinking about what I'm going to play after, because the holidays come around and usually there's not a lot of games coming out during that time, so I usually pick a game I haven't like played, or catch up. Like I'm still playing. I have to get through Tsushima still. I really want to beat that game before Ghost of Yotai comes out. So there's that. I've also been eyeing to play Last of Us Part 1, but the PS5 version, because the season 2 is coming out and I'm really excited. So yeah, but right now it's just Mario and Luigi as my focus.
So for me, and real quick, or not real quick, but I'll say it after I say what I'm playing. It's been the same stuff basically. I haven't played a whole lot this week. Still going through my Madden, Carolina Panthers rebuild. It's going about as atrocious as you think it would. We're currently in our third season. We started out 0-3, so we're going strong. So playing a little Black Ops 6 here and there, and it was mentioned before. Jared, I'm gonna mention it one more time. I booted up COD Ghost for the first time in like a very long time. And there's like 37 players online on those Xbox 360 servers, and I'm playing on my Xbox Series X, and 34 of them are in TDM, so you can get into a TDM lobby pretty quickly.
Can you do like a message on Xbox and tell them that you have a podcast channel where you talk about Ghost all the time?
I should do that. I should, my main reason why I should get a headset. I just every single lobby I'm in, I'm like, listen, I'm calling for. I need like I've been lobbying for a sequel
Calling for
this game.
reinforcements.
Yeah, I'm calling in
Please.
reinforcements. I need you all to watch my podcast and comment #COD Ghost.
And then tell
But
Jared to frig off.
but going to last week, in terms of like what I want to like, I plan on playing. When I talked about Pokemon Sapphire, it made me want to replay Pokemon Alpha Sapphire because I've got my 3DS up and running again, and I have that on like a physical like game card. So I think I'm gonna make a whole new story and play that through, and because I love that game so much. Real quick, we're forgetting one thing. Mason, where's that top 10 list?
Oh, are we doing that?
Do we want to do that, or
well,
do we want to save it? We're going a little long. Do we want to save it?
Yeah,
We'll
that's
save
why
it.
I saved it. I said we should
I
save that.
see.
We're going at an hour
Okay.
37.
So tune in next time where we
Okay.
have Brian and Jared go head to head and guess the top 10 games from an article I chose, which they won't know until the next time we do this because I don't want them to cheat. But tune in next Sunday for also we're going to talk about some of the Game Award nominations that'll be releasing on from the day that we're filming. It's tomorrow, so tomorrow, Monday the 18th, they'll be putting out those nominations, and we're going to be discussing them and talking about who should actually deserve the award.
Yep.
Heck
Definitely
yeah.
probably going to be some snubs on there.
Very much
I'll be,
so.
I'll be curious to see if Black Myth Wuhan?
Yeah,
I'll be curious
Wuhan.
if that one gets any love, even though it was huge. I know we'll see, even though it was one of the biggest games of the year. And it happened last time with Hogwarts Legacy, got no love, so we'll see what happens this year. Also, tune in soon as well as we have Mr. Mason playing Deep Rock Galactic with myself and Brian. Brandon is not one to play online games, but he agreed to play that with us, and it was an absolute blast to play.
So
I think
much
we're going to
fun.
continue that.
Totally.
Fun to play through that. But real quick, you guys mentioned games that you're going to play that you intend to play after the ones you're currently playing now. I didn't even think of that, but there is one. I would like to go back and finally finish Persona 5. I played about 40 hours of Persona 5 when my second son was born. Being home, I played that, went to absolute death, and I would really like to go back and finish it because it could possibly make one of my favorite games of all time list after I finish it. So that's when I want to play after putting endless amount of hours into Civ and Black Ops 6, whenever that'll end. Probably never, but we'll see.
You do
That's
you.
episode 2. Don't crumb on me.
Don't crumb on him.
Dude, we're gonna get flagged for that one day.
Well, before you say goodbye, make sure to
yeah, make sure. Oh
subscribe.
yeah,
Subscribe.
Yeah, like,
turn on those
subscribe,
notifications
punch the notification bell as some
as
people
hard
like
as
to
you
say.
can.
Brandon, you got to stop doing that, buddy. Your hair's flying all over the place. It's wild, dude.
Like Josh Peck from Drake and Josh.
Like,
Join
comment,
our Discord
subscribe.
if you haven't.
Yes, please do. Share the videos
And-
if you would like. Those definitely help a lot as
Hey,
well.
friends. This has been a
And
blast to do it with
join
you
the
guys.
Discord.
We said that.
I'm saying it
He's
again.
reiterating it, and I'm gonna say one more time. You should join the Discord.
Hey, did you know we have a Discord?
Hey, in case you didn't know,
We found this app called Discord, and it's pretty great. You should join it.
join our community. We're going to talk about all kinds of things in there, get topics for upcoming shows and gameplays and all of that. So
The Xenomorph Egg wants to join the Discord as well.
I think it broke Mason. All right. On that note, thanks for watching Trifecta Talks on Trifecta Games. I'm Jared. That's Brandon and Brian. Thanks for watching. Join us next time.
Goodbye.